Good morning, everyone. Would you join me in the pledge? Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful weather. I just pray for safety for all of our county employees. Pray that you give the commissions good judgment to make the right decisions for the county. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
Jim, please turn on your mic.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion, we approve the claims in the amount of $774,472.52.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any adds and links? Everybody good with the agenda?
Anything to add this week? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Somebody like to read the sheriff's report?
I can. March 24th, 2025, total prisoners in at 59. Total prisoners of 59, total prisoners in at 56, total farmed out of 3, total farmed in of 47, 911 calls 98, jail contacts 3,358, calls for service 676, civil service papers served 28, VIN inspections 12, 24 cases opened, 9 cases closed, 4 vehicle crashes, 2 SRO activities for spring break, bailiff contacts of 165 with 27 resulting for calls for service and 6 livestock out.
AMR?
Good morning, Don Brooks with AMR for the monthly report of March. It was a busy month. Blue Mound had 9 calls and 2 transports. Centerville, 5 calls, 1 transport. Bolton, 1 call, 0 transports. Lacine, 18 calls, 10 transports. Fontana, 3 calls, 2 transports. Linn Valley, 12 calls, 7 transports. Mound City, 27 calls, 12 transports. Parker, 9 calls, 4 transports. Pleasanton, 25 calls, 17 transports. Prescott, 4 calls, 2 transports for a total of 113 calls and 57 transports. Anything from me? I don't have anything.
Nope.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hagwell, Linn County Rural Fire Emergency Management. I sent out this week's call totals. We had a total call volume of 38 calls, brings our yearly total up to 201. They break down, we had 15 wildland fire, 2 vehicle fires, 2 rubbish fires. 7 EMS assistants, 1 electric line arcing, 4 smoke investigations, 3 calls where we were dispatched and canceled en route, and 4 calls where we were called out where they didn't have a burn permit when they were burning. Just kind of information, see where we're setting. For March of this year, we ran 123 calls. Last year, around the same time, we were at 35 for the month of March. This year, we're sitting at the 201 calls. Last year, this time, we were at 128 calls for the year. So we're well above average. And last year was pretty average year for us as far as end of the year call totals. So just some numbers to throw out there. The other thing we have is March 26th, which is Wednesday night. We have Jen Rader from Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks coming to Pleasanton to the community center at 6:30 to give a talk on poisonous, venomous, and other potentially hazardous biota of eastern Kansas. She came in last year, very good program, well attended. So we brought her back again this year because we had a lot of people asked to have that one that wasn't making it last year, and people that was there wanted to see it again. So she's coming back to be Pleasanton this Wednesday night. There's no charge, that's free for anybody to come and see. So that is all I have unless you guys have any questions.
I don't.
I don't have anything. You,
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Chastity doesn't have anything today, I don't think, does she?
Oh, she did.
Pardon me?
She said she did want to.
She got something?
There were 2 lines in here. I don't know if she's coming in or not, but
She's faster now that she's not on crutches.
I know, I'm sorry, I was on the phone. I said, skirt, get off the phone. Good morning. I don't have a ton for you today. I just want to let you know that it is out there on Facebook about the Summer Youth Employment Grant. All of the information is there. The form is there for those businesses to start applying for that. I also met with Kelly Orender last week with Kansas Travel. Gained a ton of information there that I will start working on getting that updated for our little county to be having more information out there on that Kansas tourism website. So that's exciting to have going. And then I spent Friday afternoon with Janet McCrae from Miami County and gained another lot of information that we can be doing for our county here. So I will start working on that as well. I don't have anything else unless you have something for me. I just want to let you know about those 2 things.
I don't have
can you
anything.
just update on the website? I'm reading the line there, but
I'm going to need some legal advice before I move forward with that.
do you need that today?
If he's available,
He is.
so
10 minutes?
sure, great.
I don't have anything else.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, guys. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Jesse?
Jesse Walton, Operations Director for the Road Department. The service requests for the road department from beginning of year to date, 82 received, 62 closed, 20 are currently open. Service requests this last week, we had 9 received, 3 closed, 6 currently open. I know some of those got closed out on Friday, so that number has changed. In Pleasanton, we had blades out, working the roads over. We had some down trees and branches in the area we take care of. Had 1 blade out on Tuesday. Todd and Franklin were out assessing roads for the upcoming paving projects, getting that put together so we can get some costs for you on that. Tuesday was the same thing with Thursday. Friday had blade out working, pretty much the same thing in Pleasanton all week. Mountain City, Operations were pretty normal, blades out working roads, rocks, trucks hauling rock out to the roads. Todd did have a rock truck over in his area. We shared back and forth between the North Shop and Mountain City Shop to help him out. Had one operator out sick all week. He came back in Friday. One of our dump trucks been working on down there in Mountain City. It's had a few electrical issues. Got the tarp changed out on it. Should have it back up and running. I got the door installed on the Blue Mound grader that we had ordered in. Our John Deere grader down here is going to be coming in for a 2,000-hour service with John Deere. They're going to get that scheduled in. And then Craig was off for military service for the weekend. In the North Shop, we had blades out working. We got the John Deere grader up and going. Just had some electrical issues in there. They've got those straightened out, so that grader's been out working. The other John Deere grader hopefully will be finished up today, and we can get it back over to Parker and get it back out working on the roads. Had trucks out hauling rock all week. Dump truck 106, we had to do some brake work on it. Had some coolant lines that were leaking, got those fixed. Had some residential and field entrances that we installed through the week. Pretty quiet week, just normal operations for the most part through the road department. So, don't have anything for me.
I see we got a blade operator working on signs. Why did we take a blade operator off? It says Bub, didn't need a blade operator.
That in the Mound City one.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you why he was out fixing signs other than they probably didn't have anybody else. So I can't answer that.
Well, I'd just like to sit, personally, I think we should have blades running.
I agree. I don't know.
But we
I-
also don't have anyone that's on
On
the sign
signs.
department. So it has, like, if we have a stop sign down, if historical sites
Still
are
have to
asking
take
for
care of
signs,
it.
someone
We all,
has to do it.
we all kind of take turns putting signs up throughout the weekends and throughout the week. So it's,
I'm just saying the
Like I said-
blade operators are pretty important, and the truck drivers, we could,
right,
I mean, not that they're not, but if it's,
right. I understand.
I think.
Well, where are we at with the sign, with, hiring, were we going to hire someone else?
Yep, we need to sit down and post that job. That's one other thing I wanted to ask if we could post that and get that going for a sign guy. And also I'd like to post the job for the seasonal mowers if we could, where that season's coming up also. I did get
Time job, a full-time job.
you know, I think we can stretch it into other things more than just signs, into tree removal and things of that nature. I think they can have more responsibilities than just the signs on that because everybody takes responsibility on a lot of those signs, mainly the culvert markers. I've got the blade guys packing carcinites with them, so if they miss one, they can put one up as they go along. So I think that job can entail more than just signs on that.
Okay. I'm in,
I'm in favor of moving forward with the sign because it was really helpful when Kevin Amer was here and he would always help me out a lot. And I do feel like people call for signs.
Yeah, there's a lot of calls for signs. There really is.
and I think it's time on the seasonal mowers as well. So I would be in favor of you pushing that out.
Okay.
I'm in favor of that. And then also just maybe an updated description on what you want for that sign position.
Yeah. That sounds good. We'll get something put together.
Okay.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jesse.
Jesse.
Okay.
Have a good day.
John? Hey, Jesse, I got one other question, I guess, before you leave. That's I got a phone call this morning or an email text message at 1077 at Centerville, the bridge. The entrances on that bridge right there in Centerville. We've talked about this and at 1700 Road too. Both the entrances on that
The one on 1700 Road?
route. It's a bridge there.
Yes.
Then a bridge south, right there on the south end of Centerville
Okay.
we was going to work on them, and we've told, it's about.
So we've worked on the one on 1700 Road a couple of times. And that's what Todd's, so we have several bridges that we're going to,
This is one in town there, it's 1077 right there at the edge of town.
in Centerville.
Yeah.
Yep, so there's, I know Todd's got a list, we talked about this last week, of several bridges that need the approaches fixed on them. And so he's getting those costs together to fix those approaches, like we got one up at the power plant, one on 1700, the one in Centerville that he talked about. I think he said he had one down in Parker area that he wanted to work on also, to get those approaches fixed, on those. So I know those are being put, the costs are being put together for
When
those.
are we gonna be looking at fixing them? You have any idea?
I don't. As soon as he did bring me in some costs the other day for chip and seal on roads, and we're gonna sit down and go over the bridges end of it to get those approaches fixed. So hopefully we can get those fixed here shortly. Bettis reached out to Todd the other day. They're gonna put a temporary asphalt plant up by Fontana. And they're gonna start mixing asphalt. So we've been in contact with them to where we can get some and start laying it down for some of these bridge approaches and other parts of the roads that need fixed. So it's went up in cost this year. I think they were saying something like $95 a ton to buy asphalt this year from them. So, but at least they'll have a plant running. It'll be a lot closer than running up into the city. So.
Okay.
I got a call on that, or got a message on that this morning, and I just wondered when we give her a time frame.
Yeah, I don't have a time frame as of yet. Once we get all those costs together, bring them to you, what it's going to cost, because the price have just gone up like everything else. So,
Okay,
okay.
thanks.
Thanks, Jesse.
Sean?
Sean West, Public Works. I have an answer back. You asked me to reach out to QuickCom, and I sent a letter that you'd all seen. Basically, the answer I got back,
Yeah, I saw it. Or did you respond back to him and give him the next week, or did we just let it be from Sean, or from Mr. Terry?
well, the answer I got back that he was on PTO that week, and was going to be out. But that he previously had sent from their legal staff an MOU and believed that that MOU covered our concerns and wanted to reissue that and see if our legal would go over it and come to some agreement about an MOU and where to go from there.
So you don't want to come visit with us, I guess, then, is what he said.
Right.
Well, I don't know that he's went that far, but he is out of town on PTO this week and unavailable, and did offer up the MOU as the standing solution for our issue and theirs, and believes that if we push it out to our legal, that something can be done with it.
Okay, so the MOU. All lines and other infrastructure installed by QuickCom in the county's right-of-way will be installed per the county's road right-of-way use regulations. When the width or right-of-way of circumstances makes it impossible to install the lines or other infrastructure, the required difference from the road or the proper depth. There, QuickCom acknowledges that such installation is at its own risk. Any damage to said installation by the county or its agents or assigns to said installation shall be the cost of QuickCom, and the county shall be completely indemnified from the claim or costs from any damages to the county or other parties as a result of placement of said installation, except when damages result in the negligence of the county. QuickCom agrees to cover any reasonable cost for the county for any necessary relocation, repairs for necessitated by improvements, repairs, maintenance, reconstruction, or relocation of the county roads. When the permitted installation is completed, QuickCom will provide the county with a detailed, accurate as-built planning showing the exact location and nature of the installed equipment. Have we received that?
I'd have to check with GIS. But to my knowledge and just general recollection of the situation, I believe GIS did get it. And the last email I saw was working out the format in which it needed to be sent, but that was some time ago.
Okay,
I thought you were requesting that as built and have been for a while.
we have.
I thought that's what we was
Got it,
asking for.
GIS, why were we not notified? Here's a copy if you need that. I mean, can you
I can check on it.
check with that?
I can check and make sure.
How do we move forward? Legal, go over that document?
Yes.
I'll print this out and then you want to do. Is Mark here today? I thought he
Yeah,
was.
he's here. We can get him here whenever we want him. He said, give him a little time.
When we go into executive to talk about this, maybe you could call GIS and see if they have the as-built. Is that okay?
I will look into it.
Thanks.
Next item I had for you was, spoke to Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission. They are willing to assist with the HPF grant at no cost to the county unless we were to ask them later if we were awarded the grant to manage or administer the grant. The grant match is 40%, and the grants normally run between $5,000 and $50,000. You can expect a similar grant to run $20,000 or $25,000 for our portion of it. This grant would allow us to come up with a detailed plan through engineering cost and evaluation to put in the following year for a grant to actually physically do the work. This would be building the plan that we would rehab the courthouse with, and it would be paid for by grant money, or a large sum of it would be paid for by them.
60% would be paid for by grant funds, 40% by us.
Correct. The only thing I can't tell you is when this will open, and it is being tracked by them and myself, and we expect it to open in the next several weeks. The question to you is whether or not we need to do anything or change anything before that opening, because when that opening comes open, there's going to be a limited window to apply for this grant, and we're going to need to have the funding available. I spoke to the clerk this morning about that funding and the courthouse capital fund. I believe there's funding there for this project for the grant match. I also believe that while that grant match is occurring, we're going to have to look at the capital fund for the courthouse and figure out where the rest of this money will come from and how we will fund it.
Do we have any insurance money we've been paid for the roof and things?
I can look into that.
I think there's over 70,000 from insurance from May.
But that's for the roofs
roof.
specifically, not for this part, right?
Correct.
Correct. And I'm waiting on a bid for that in the next week to 2 weeks. I should have those numbers to you in the next couple of weeks about what we can recover and what can be repaired through that process.
We need to figure out what we can repair with the money, right?
Well, my understanding, when you get paid on an insurance, you would only replace the roof,
Right.
Yes.
but I'd also heard from others in public comment or open session, they were going to fix the floor of the clerk's office with that money. And so it's like, we need to make a decision, I feel like, I think you should only, if we were paid for a roof through insurance, then we need to use that money just towards the roof. to replace
Okay,
it.
right. But, I mean, the question
It's sitting
here,
there and we don't know how much is there for sure, but I think it was around 70.
are we going to try to get things together to apply for this grant to try to do our major repairs on the courthouse?
Yes, I think we should. I also feel like we didn't finalize the 2009 money. We're just gonna let that go. We don't know if we got it. We don't know.
I can't answer.
Can't answer that.
No one can
So
tell me.
letting that go. That's
got it.
2000.
I did look into it and I couldn't find anything. I can continue to look.
So we'll
And
scratch
the-
that. And then the 2017 open application, we were gonna
Close?
close. Did we close it?
I have not closed it yet until you tell me.
Do we need to make?
But my recommendation is to close it because I can't find any work that had been started.
Okay,
I think
and then start over.
I'm.
Okay, I'm not
But the
arguing.
reason why we didn't close it was because we don't know if we did any of the work, right? So if you close it and we don't know if we did the work or didn't do the work, when we close it, it's done. Like, we're not gonna get reimbursed.
We've already paid for it anyway, probably if we've done it right.
If we've done it, the county has paid for it. We did not make any
Right.
notes or get back in contact with the state. So they're not going to reimburse until we can prove that we've done the work. We can't prove.
If we don't know
we've
what
done
the work was, how are we gonna prove we did it? I mean, where's the paperwork?
Oh,
I'm saying we might as well close it out, that's what I'm saying. Because we don't know
I
what we
mean,
did.
I think it's
So what is it titled?
I'm
What
sorry.
is the one we need to close out?
That's the,
It's the 2017 HPF.
yes, and it covered tax certificate or certificates, not physical grant money. It was a set of tax certificates that we could sell to recoup our money.
So-
But we can't find where we completed any work, or at least the records for
Right.
completing that work.
Can you next week bring us the 2017 application so we can read it and make a motion to close it?
It's
So we
fine.
know exactly the document. We'll have it on file of what we're closing.
Right.
That's fine.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure does.
I can bring that back next week.
And then we'll move forward.
Okay, so
Okay, with what you've presented today, I'm in favor of moving forward with the plan of the courthouse. And that would mean we don't have to hire them. We just contract through.
Southeast Kansas,
Planning, where it's a contract, but there's no payment, right?
correct.
because we're already paying dues.
Through the, right, okay. So,
Basically, when the application's open, you would ask them to make an application on the county's behalf.
Okay, so what do we need to do in the meantime? Begin compiling our list of repairs needed?
That's what the engineer and
Right.
the year would give us. What we need in the meantime is to look at that capital outlay fund, find out what's there and what we're holding in reserve for the second phase of the project. And as that year goes on and they tell us, you're going to need so much more money, we're going to have to find that money to put into that project, because at the end of that year, when we apply for that next grant, we're going to have the match for that grant and the money to come up with it.
okay.
And
So I would
you
like-
could do everything from the basement issue all the way to the steeples that have rot in them and everything in between. So this could be, to include HVAC, this could be a large project.
Okay,
Okay, so with it being a large project and we're moving people out of the courthouse, are we all in favor that we are putting money, county money, into keeping this building open? Is that the goal? That's my goal, but I don't know what that looks like for you guys.
Depends where we end up at the dollar and cents wise, I'd say.
I would be in favor of keeping the courthouse. I think that I think it's a vital part of the county.
Can we go ahead and work on the roof before this? Or, I mean, can we
Why not?
go ahead and get the roof fixed now? Because this isn't part of, with insurance money, is this part of,
It is a part of it because the insurance money doesn't even come close to what it's gonna cost us
So
to
that
replace
will-
that.
that-
You're talking millions, I believe. I think it was like at least $1 million.
Well, and you got to understand also the insurance is going to have deductibles. So the 70 or better, we're going to have a payment in there as well.
We already got paid. The deductible part, that's done, right?
They took it out.
Yeah, they
before
They took the deductibles out of ours.
Wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's
They
what
don't
they
send
always.
you.
I can't,
more damage and what's there when we get there that we could be reimbursed some more, right?
Possibly.
correct.
But there's probably a time limit.
Yes.
And we've got to get each part of that approved by SHPO before the materials and the construction. So we've got the clerk's floor done, but as these companies build the plan and give us the estimates, I've got to get them entered in and they've got to approve them and then you've got to approve them and then we've got to set a start date for them.
So we already are out for bid on replacing the roof.
Yes.
When does that close?
It already closed and I got no bids. So I directly contacted a company recommended by the state, the insurance company, who does historical restoration. And that company is supposed to be working in the next week to 2 weeks to get me a bid.
So none of them companies that I gave you, nobody but.
I was unable to get anything from them through that process or find anybody that qualified. And I'm not saying that at the time that I had contact with everyone or had time to talk to them at length. This company was recommended by the insurance carrier strictly because they do historical restorations, and this restoration and its height and its detail fit into their
What was the
bill.
name of the company?
That's going to be on my emails. They're out of El Dorado.
I'm hearing multiple things. So I'm hearing we really need to focus on the roof. I feel like once we go into the roof and then you're talking about HVAC and all these things, the steeple replacement, like, it's just, to me, that's a 5 to 10 year plan. That's not, we need to get the roof done.
I would like to focus
I
on
say
the roof
let's
and get the roof
focus on
taken
the
care
roof.
of myself.
Yeah.
I'm okay with still contracting with the regional planning. I think that's a good start, but maybe
Okay.
the roof is separate from regional planning.
I agree that the roof is separate from regional planning.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and be watching for this grant and apply for it when it comes available as well?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Can you reach out to these companies that I gave you and see if anybody, to make sure that these guys are not interested in just fixing the roof right now?
I can try to reach out to them and see not only if they're interested, but if they have the ability to do the historical.
I'm gonna.
Preservation work.
So you're saying you got the contact from the insurance contract?
From
or did you
K
get it
Camp,
from the
yes.
State, okay. So the State of Kansas Historical Society, they use Charlie Pritchard. I'm gonna send you his information to get a bid on the roof. If we can have two, I think that would be the best
That would be
scenario.
better.
So I'm gonna send you his information and maybe you can reach out to him, have him give us a bid on the courthouse. The roof is separate. We'll move forward with Southeast Kansas Regional Planning. Do you need to prepare a contract for us to look over?
Once that opens up, I would If there's a contract available, I would assume they'll ship it
So
to
we
me
don't
and
need
I'll
to do
bring it to you.
planning before the grant opens up?
So this
No.
grant is just for the engineering and the planning, right?
This grant strictly deals with the year worth of
So they're
planning.
they're not granting us anything to fix the courthouse. This is just a 40, 60. We're paying 40, they're
On the
paying
architectural
60,
part of fixing the building.
and figuring out what's wrong with it and everything that way, right?
You're building the plan. This is what it takes to build the plan to get the money to fix it.
Okay.
So we're gonna move it forward with the roof.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, but maybe I'm confused. Southeast Kansas Regional Planning is helping us write the grant. The grant is the 60/40. I am saying, do we need to have a contract with Southeast Kansas Regional Planning to get the information prepared now? You're not saying we're gonna work with them before?
The grant itself prepares that information. That's what the grant does for that 60/40 grant prepares the information to apply for the grant that physically does the work. It's a preparation and an engineering grant.
Okay.
Okay, so next week he needs to bring back the 2017 application so we can make a motion to close the current SHPO application that Linn County has on file. And then you're going to hopefully bring us back 2 bids within the next 2 weeks or so on the roof.
I will attempt either to bring you bids or to bring you hard dates for those bids from the companies.
Okay, and then we need information from the clerk's office regarding the insurance payment. Do we need that information? How
Should
much
have-
we
Should
received?
how much money we received from the roof.
Okay, we need to know how much money we received on the roof. Do we have to have it replaced by a certain time? Also on the capital outlay for the courthouse, it includes multiple buildings. I think that in the budget, I think it's very confusing because the budget for the courthouse, we're paying for the soundproofing in district court building. That's the
Okay.
courthouse outlay. So we will never be able to identify how much money we're spending on the courthouse and whether it's worth it or not to keep it open. If you continue to pull money out of the courthouse overlay to fix all the other buildings in the county. Does that make sense?
It
I think they
does.
need to be separated. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say it should be separated. We should know, just like equipment, we should know exactly what goes to a piece of equipment. As far as repairs, that all should be separated out to where we could go back and look anywhere.
I wouldn't mind keeping a separate spreadsheet to keep track of that for you. However, when we enter those expenditures individually, there is a description line that we can use to put in what building we're putting that fund towards.
So that you can track it.
It is
And-
being tracked. It's just in a description line that doesn't show up on your guys's, overall big picture on the month-end reports.
So we have one lump sum of money, but we could separate it out to know exactly how much we spent on each building.
Correct.
Correct.
Right.
So can you get us, would we want any information on how much we spent on the courthouse in the past? Doesn't
we-
matter at this point.
Have we spent money on the courthouse?
There's been less than
Furnace.
$1,000. I'd say something like $800 so far this year out of capital outlay.
We've spent less than $1,000
This year,
this year.
That's correct.
it's March 24th.
Could you get hold of Mark and see if he can come over?
Okay.
Well, I guess if it's being tracked by the clerk, that's all that really matters. I'm good with it. I just think it's confusing for me to look at it. But I didn't know that there was another layer that we just don't see.
if we ask you for the detail, you can print that out to us, I mean,
Yeah, if I have some
each
advance
building.
notice, I can get that to you guys for sure.
Okay.
Also, randomly kind of reached out to Lisa Kelstadt talking about the name for that building that they're in now. She did send me some options of what we would want to name that building, but they just call it the old courthouse or district court building.
Yeah.
District, I mean,
Old Judicial Center.
do we want to name it something?
I don't have a problem with it, you name it.
I mean, when people call, it's like, go to the old district court building.
Right.
It'd be nice to say.
This is what it is.
So I'll email you. This is just from her, so there might be other people that want to give their input. I have no idea, but I do think it'd be nice to give them a name for their building.
Okay.
I'll email it to you so you can email it to everybody else.
That'd be great. And if she gave you several options, I could even put it on social media
Yeah.
as a poll.
Yeah.
Give the public an idea.
Put it out, yeah,
I think that's
so
a
you
great idea.
Come up with some ideas for people with the.
All right, so moving forward, Sean, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, moving forward, are we good on the courthouse? A few things that you're bringing back next week.
Yes.
When are we gonna start on the floor?
It's done. I
It's
thought.
done?
Oh, in the courthouse? What are you talking
The
about?
clerk's floor is not finished.
That's what I'm asking.
No, we're approved to begin. I spoke to Randy last week. Going to coordinate Randy and Mike together, move the desk as far out as possible to do the work. And then he is going to start on the work over the weekends.
Okay. Okay. And then we're gonna work on the grant process.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You do that, Sean? I mean, to pass that to the
Yeah.
grant?
Who's following when it opens?
I'm
Are
sorry.
you following
Ron
when
and
are you going to be
Brittany.
the one following when the grant cycle opens?
Sean and Brittany, Brittany from RPC is going to help you with that.
Yes, we're both watching to see when it opens at the state level. Once it opens and you approve applying for it, she will apply for the grant and then notify us if we're awarded so that we can begin that process.
So you'll notify us the minute it's open and we can, okay.
Now, the next line I had was fuel and demo bids went out. You remember the demo bid was for the previous county attorney's office and that there was funding available for the roof damage on that building as well. When we check on the other roof damage and what funding we've been given or where that funding's been used, we need to check on that funding and how tearing that building down affects what we get and where it goes.
Okay.
What we get, I'm so confused.
I thought we'd already
we
got it.
got
Did we
the
not?
funding.
We
We've already had the
did,
issue.
but if we're not fixing the roof, are we going to have to return the funding? I think that's what he said.
Yeah, I don't know the
On-
answer.
On that
I
building,
wouldn't think you'd have to. I mean, if you take the money, that just,
but you're tearing it down.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know
I
the-
don't know that, but I'd say
I think we need clarification from
on
K-Camp
that,
on
for sure.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I can't answer to you. I just can't.
You good with that?
Yep, I can reach out to Kate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a mowing contract. Page 2 has the signatures on it. You'll notice the only different from this from what you did and approved is because Parker has not made a decision on the senior center yet, we had to add it back. So your total numbers on page 3 will have changed slightly. I can't remember what.
$60 more.
$60 more
Okay.
for Parker.
So that is the only difference, although it never changed between the bidders, who was the lowest bid and the contract price. So from the first grant or first contract stuff I sent you to now, that is the only change. The only thing we're doing is signing page 2 and entering into the same contract agreement that we've been in for several years.
Yeah, I've looked at it.
I'll make a motion that we enter into the contract with Scarecrow Farm Lawn Care and allow the chairman to sign for the mowing on the county properties as detailed in the bidding process.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 You should have received a copy of the county engineers or road supervisors' annual report to the state. This is a report given yearly. It was already sent and approved. This is just for your records so that you'll know the numbers. You'll notice, if you did look at last year's, that between all of our spring damage last year and our bridge work being done north of Lacine, the numbers have changed quite a bit from last year's reporting, but it, again, has already been sent to the state and accepted.
Okay.
You should have also been given a 25 SEK County Commissioners Highway Officials Spring Meeting. It's just a spring meeting for county commissioners and highway officials to get a meet and greet and some educational training that morning down at Chanute KDOT facility. I don't know whether you'd received it or if anyone plans to attend, what your obligations to inform the public are.
This is the first I've seen of this meeting. I would like to attend.
I think that's
Does anybody,
Good.
do we all, are you asking us, like, so do you guys want to, if we're all at the meeting, we just have to let the public know that might be a possibility?
That could be. I mean, I don't.
You're going to be discussing equipment and other things that could affect the county. So I'm making an assumption that you'd have to notify them.
I'm fine with you just attending, Ally.
I'm okay with it.
That way we don't have any of those potential conflicts.
Are you going, Sean?
I would assume, I haven't got to talk to Jesse, but I would assume he and I both are going. And possibly Todd, depending on what the topics are. The next thing I had for you was just road complaints. You know that we get them through the internet. We've received 4 on Tanglewood. The only question I have for you is, do you want those piled up and then to make a decision on how to handle those later? Or do you want me to do something specific or track those in the interim?
I'd say just
Track them.
for now.
Okay.
Okay, so track them for now, but eventually we're gonna make
We'll
a
have to
public
make a
statement.
decision.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
So I attended their meeting on Saturday and fielded questions and answered questions as best I could with the information that we have currently. So, but asked for their patience to be able to work through this situation as we gather facts and make the correct decision. And that I did tell them that we would come back to them with what the options are going to be before we make those decisions.
I'm good with that. I mean,
Okay.
as far as like fixing anything now, some of them were concerned about that, but like that just needs to go into
We need to get the order. We need to,
get a work order for the time being.
yep.
Can we talk about that in executive session with Mark today?
Yep.
Would be good.
Okay, the next thing I had for you was Commissioner Johnson asked about some bids for the loader. The rep that I'm working with is on PTO all last week, so I will not be able to speak to him till this week. So it'll be a week out before I can get you that information. He just was out of office all week.
Okay.
Roll-off recommendations. I have the bids for all the roll-offs. I went through it with the mechanics. I do have the recommendations. Danielle and I spoke about the reserve equipment fund and pulling the numbers for you so that you can look at that and judge what you want, not only from that fund, but also for the loader. But I was supposed to get an email this morning about tariffs. These tariffs were supposed to go into effect last Friday. No one got any notices about how those tariffs from Canada and Mexico would affect the prices of those trucks. So I was waiting on an email from 8 to 9 this morning, which I never got. I cannot give you the exact numbers of those trucks, and we need to, again, put that off till next week when I have those numbers.
Aren't we paying for that out of ARPA funds?
Well, we talked about just 2 trucks out of ARPA funds.
Right.
We did. I mean, and I don't know, I'd like to talk about that myself as far as replacing all 3 right now. I mean, I thought there was 2 to begin with.
I did too.
And then it came to 3. I just wonder,
There are 3 out there, and one has just been repaired with 2 computers and is working quite adequately now that the computers are in, and I believe you're correct. I think the recommendation from the landfill is going to be only to repair or replace 2 of them.
Okay.
that's what I
But
thought.
we had set aside, we'd sent in that we were doing that out of ARPA funds, correct?
I will have to check that. My memories,
I think that was one of our options, was to spend it on our ARPA money, was to spend on the trucks, is what I believe for
Right.
2 of them.
That's what I remember as well. So I just want to make sure that we're bringing that in and that we're not pulling it out of equipment reserve if we have those other funds available that we have earmarked and said we're going to use those on. We want to use those on replacing those 2 trucks.
Didn't we ask for clarification that the ARPA funds were being taken care of accurately as well last week?
That's her.
So you were asking about the roll-off trucks, confirmation, and the MOA that we have is for 2
Okay.
of those 3 trucks.
What's the dollar figure in there now? What's the dollar figure we have in ARPA now, do you know, as far as money left over?
I think that report's on my computer, but if you give me a minute, I can
That's
pull that up on my computer. But yeah, the MOA that that you just were discussing in regards to the roll-off trucks, we did for 2 trucks,
Okay.
not 3.
Okay.
You were given the option of one with all 3 trucks and an option with 2, and you chose the one with 2. That's what we sent to the region.
Okay. Have you, Chastity, I'm sorry, have you spoke to Regional Planning Commission in regards to our ARPA funds?
We're in compliance of what we're supposed to be doing. I just spoke to Carrie that March 10th when she was here,
Okay.
making sure that we were where we needed to be at.
And that the main difference here is that we're not the ones doing it. We've got Regional Planning Commission
Correct.
who's doing this for multiple counties and multiple.
We pay them a nice hefty sum so they take care of the compliance aspect of it. We just provide the receipts and the MOAs.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
And I do have Commissioner's accounts payable summary of 2024 receipts, if you'd like that. And then the year-to-date for 2025 general ledger for the ARPA Sparks.
Okay,
And so what I'm confirming as well is when I received my budget information from the clerk's office, as well as the receipts from Joyce when things have been paid, that they are matching, that they were taken out of whichever account that they were supposed to, coded through ARPA, and then those receipts are also then sent to Carrie at Southeast Kansas
very good.
General Planning Commission, so.
I'm confident with that. You
Okay.
guys good moving forward with our?
I am.
Me too. Thank you.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chassie.
Thanks, Daniel.
Next thing I had was your city compactor agreement.
Yeah.
And I believe you'll find one for each one of the cities, with the exception of Pleasanton. You'll find 2 inked copies, one for them and one for us. So you would be signing 2 copies for Pleasanton.
Let me get this straight. I've been asked by Mound City too. The fence around there, the gates and everything will be the city's responsibility, right?
The fence and the gates
The gates,
that were taken down by the city,
but the gates that's up, but that's the question. They got a gate issue down there. And is that the city's responsibility or ours?
infrastructure is typically ours through those agreements.
With the gates, I thought it was the fenced area is the way I read it. That maybe that the cities. You guys read that?
I've read it many times.
I had to, but I thought
Now, if you're looking for an interpretation of that and the new contract, then I'm going to have to read it, because you got to remember, everything that I'm working off of is everything we've been operating off of for 5 years prior. So.
What number are you thinking it falls under,
I
Jim?
don't remember.
Not really seeing anything specific to. What is there?
Number
Are they
5
wanting?
is what it is. I'll be responsible for constructing any city chosen trains.
What number?
Is that just decided? Or? All it is, they have a gate that's broke down there and they're wanting it fixed.
Okay, well, let's ask, you want to ask Mark and then come back and make a motion to sign these?
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, we'll talk.
Yes, I am.
No
I'm,
idea.
I'm just still trying to read through to find that.
I,
5 is what I see that is.
I'm just looking to see if it's detailed out in any other number.
I'm surprised we missed that.
You gotta ask about it this weekend.
So many eyes were on it.
What else?
The signatures on those and dock removal for the park was pushed out and will be reannounced due to wind. We were unable to float the boats that would secure the lines due to the wind over the weekend. I understand we're back on the schedule for cabins today for walkthroughs. I spoke to Randy about the clerk's floor, and I need 5 minutes for non-elected personnel.
Did Randy provide the gazebo bid?
He did not when we met. We spoke about it and what would be needed in order to turn it in for the state. That I'd need an itemized list in order to fill out the state form.
I thought we asked for that for today. We needed it. I thought we were moving forward with that.
Thought it was because it wasn't anything.
It wasn't anything to do with historical society, so we asked for the all-in bid from Randy for today to make a motion to move forward with that. I thought that's what we said last week.
The only thing historical had to say about it was they didn't control it, but they would like us to turn in a form on it so they could weigh in on the roofing material and any other things that would affect the aesthetics from the outside of the courthouse. They made it very clear it was not their decision, but they would like to see it before we start in the construction.
Well, I agree. We needed Randy's bid back today to make a motion and move forward with it. Can you get with Randy and have him provide that next week?
I will make contact
Because
with,
we're moving forward with the gazebo.
Right.
Outside of the grant, outside of Historical Society, it's something completely different. The floor
He's gonna move
is
it in and
ruined.
fix it.
The wood is terrible. Wasps are all over that thing. It needs to be fixed. He had the plan. He was talking about the posts. He was talking about the flooring, all of that. So we need it so we can move forward.
So we'll have that next week, you think?
I'll make contact with him today.
Okay.
Thank you.
What else?
Just 5 minutes for non-elected personnel.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion. We go into executive session. Chastity wanted 10 minutes of legal.
You want to do public comment first?
Let's go into look there. I want this first.
Okay.
And then 30 minutes legal with Mark. And then 5 minutes non-elected personnel with Sean.
So a total of 40 legal.
40 legal and 5 non-elected personnel. So that's my motion. We'll return at
45 minutes.
10:48.
Yes. I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I completely disagree with going into executive session right now because it's 10 o'clock. We should be going by the agenda. I just feel like it's disrespectful.
I think we've got some things to talk about here that will clarify the,
I don't agree.
what do you think?
I seconded your motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Same sign. 2-1. We do have some action from executive session.
I would like to request that an RFP be designed and published for a website development. I would like this RFP to run for 2 weeks, potentially starting this week, but I have a feeling it won't start until next week as I work on the specs to prepare that. So I'd like for it to run for 2 weeks, starting April 2nd and 9th, and then allowing 2 weeks for those requests for proposals to come in. So I would like for them to be in our office by April 23rd and in your hands by April 28th to open. So I'm asking for that.
I'll make a motion that we go out for 2 weeks for RFP for website development for Linn County.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jensen.
Sean?
Commissioners, I'm asking that you hire Jenny Cummings for a clerk 1 position, 8A at $17.99.05 an hour for the clerk 1 position in Public Works.
I'll make a motion that we hire Jenny Cummins as clerk 1 position under Public Works, line 8A, 17.9905 per hour.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Sean.
Okay. Well, we'll open it up for public comment.
I was gonna say, did she have public comment? She's outside. Did she know we returned?
My wife?
Yeah.
She just
She already
started
left.
listening to me.
Okay. Just wanted to make
State
sure.
your name,
Thank you.
please.
Good morning, I'm Jim Hendershot from Tanglewood Lakes, former board member. I wanted to thank Commissioner Hightower for coming down Saturday, as well as the police chief, or the sheriff and undersheriff, I'm sorry. I thought there was a good exchange of information there. Thankfully, our group remained very calm and respectful. And, but I really appreciate that coming down. And obviously I can't speak for the board, but I'm looking forward to any communications that we can have with information as you guys dive into this. No matter how big or how small, I think it's important that we communicate those. And I know you've set up a communication system with Chuck Stevens, our
Yes.
president, and he'll distribute that to the members. But just wanted to say thank you. And if we can do anything as residents down there to assist, don't be afraid to let us know.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Morning, Jan. How are you?
Good. Jan Longenecker. I wanted to recap the meeting that Larry Kinder and I had with Mark Hagan on March the 12th about the Sunny Meadow subdivision. Mr. Hagan asked us what we wanted. And we said that the regulations did not allow building permits if the property was not properly zoned. That would be our number one priority. Mr. Hagan said that was a non-starter. He further claimed that we may have a personal vendetta against the developer. I asked what basis it was that he was making the claim that this project could go forward, that it was approvable, that there was no irregularities, that it could proceed. He refused to give any particulars, I think pretty much as he has with the board, as far as I can tell. He said that that would only be revealed in court. And I don't know what court he refers to, but that was his statement. Subsequent to that meeting, we consulted with another zoning attorney, qualified zoning attorney, kind of our second opinion to make sure that we weren't wasting our time, we weren't on the wrong track, we weren't just flat wrong about this. 28 individuals who are Linn County landowners, live in the area, heirs to the properties, have signed up and are now represented by a zoning attorney. We have developed a path forward with the help from that attorney. We continue to believe that building permits should not be issued. And I would hope that that's a discussion that the board would have with Mr. Harris, the zoning director, so that he has some guidance whether or not the county is going to issue building permits for 3 and 4 acre tracts, homes on those 3 and 4 acre tracts, while it continues to be zoned agriculture. Those do not meet any regulation within our zoning other than residential zoning. But that's a decision that I hope Mr. Harris has some guidance on. If approved, if a building permit is approved by the zoning director, we have the right of appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have 60 days to make that appeal once the building permit is approved. We will be issuing Kansas Open Records Act requests of Mr. Harris on a 30-day basis. In the past, we missed a deadline. We wouldn't be here today if we hadn't been, we believe we were misled and thus missed a deadline on the initial minor plat. That won't happen again. So we'll be pestering him with Open Records Act requests for any zoning approval or any building approvals that are done. That's kind of where we are. And just for your information, we've consulted 2 zoning attorneys. Neither one of them have mentioned any lawsuits against the board. So where Mr. Hagan gets that continual statement about suits against the board, I have no idea. I have my opinions, but it really doesn't matter at this point. We will move forward with the action that is allowed by the regulations. We hope that the board takes the necessary action on their part. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Close public comment then. Have anything else, Danielle?
Next up is bridge gates.
The bridge? Okay. Sean
Sean.
back.
Sean did say he was prepared to discuss this today.
Okay. Can we get Sean back here?
Yep.
Did he already leave?
I don't know.
Sean?
Can you call Mark Hagan again?
Nice.
We need to- Sorry.
Commissioners, I had contact with property owner on 1095 north of Centerville in reference to a bridge inspection and a service request that entered our system to remove a cattle gate from that bridge. There wasn't a lot of information, but it is the only cattle gate that was noted in our bridge inspections, although we have cattle gates all over a lot of our bridges. So what I did was made contact with the engineering firm, talked to them about the issues, the water restriction, which then causes water, just like a ditch being full, to go around onto the roadway and do damage. You water restrict the bridge, and then you do wing wall damage and other things of that nature. So what I asked the property owner to do is to lift the cattle guard, to clear the silting, which he had admittedly not done this year, and so that it would swing freely, and then to meet me at the next bridge inspection so he and I could talk to the engineer and work this issue out. And whatever the engineer decided had to be done, he and I would work together to accomplish it.
When I was driving through there on Friday, they were clearing silting when I was just driving down the road. I wasn't going by to look at that, but
Yeah,
they are working on it, I guess.
Yeah, it's unusual, and it's the only one we've had mentioned. But once it's mentioned on that bridge inspection, now we've got a responsibility to take care of it. So instead of jumping the gun and trying to rework the wheel, I reached out to him and said, hey, if you can temporarily alleviate the problem, then when the bridge inspection gets done the next time, I, and the engineer can be at the bridge, and we can work this issue out. That way, we keep this isolated to one bridge, and we don't have to guess at what the problem is and work this problem throughout the whole county. It's larger than one bridge. So,
Okay.
and I think everybody was happy with the resolution.
Okay,
So,
good. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn.
Is he able to meet? Got this. And she tried to call Mark and he didn't answer.
What's that?
Hmm?
What's that?
And the
Trash compactors.
Oh,
Do you want to try to call him one more time?
Call him, see if you can get him.
I mean, we could just talk to, he doesn't have to come over here. He just wants to be on the phone. We scared him off in the last meeting.
so in this instance, in regards to the trash compactor, you're saying item 5, the city shall be responsible for constructing any city-chosen trash compactor site. So since that is their chosen site, they are responsible for their gate.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I was asked, that's what I'm saying, so.
I think that's the way this contract reads when I'm interpreting it, but I'm not a lawyer, of course.
We're responsible for the rest of the equipment is the way I read it, right? In the building?
Yes. The compacting equipment.
County should hold. I guess there is more going in there.
We need to have Prescott's reprinted. Or whoever this one was. Parker, sorry. Yes, because, I mean, I'm assuming it would need to be 15 didn't print off on the contract at the bottom. Do you know what I mean? Do you have that on file?
I have what you have, I have the PDF of the original.
I mean, I guess it's okay. I kind of read it, but.
What's the problem?
Oh, like on Parker's contract, when we printed it, number 15, that line it just didn't print off on the bottom.
Just what I see is applied, and that's the only thing I see, that they're responsible
Like
for
right here.
constructing any chose.
Does that matter? No? I just thought if she had it, let's reprint it, but if she doesn't, it's fine, I guess, but.
I think it would be good to reprint it. I don't think we want a partial contract sitting out there,
Okay.
right?
You're just saying half of these words are about. I just got. The PDF again.
Alright, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Like on number 12 on the county, it says the county shall maintain any county provided personnel shelters adjacent to the compactor. So to me, that we're
Personnel shelters,
the building there, yep,
but not the gates,
but to the gates, I just,
right?
how do you feel about that as far as the number 5, what it says?
I know, like in the past, like people have, or I think this is accurate, like in Pleasanton, like if someone rams into the gate, they're responsible to fix it. right?
Pleasanton is, or?
I feel like they've done that. Thank you. Yeah.
We have no control over what, where they put it. I mean, it's still theirs to put it and how they maintain it.
Right. Other than they have to provide us the power that we need
Right.
and things of that nature so that we can operate the compactor box with them. It's all spelled out.
I feel that it is there constructing any city chosen trash compactor site.
Yep.
You good with that?
That they maintain their own fence
Yeah.
and their own gate. Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. I just didn't know. I'm okay with moving forward.
Well, I'm just saying number 5 is if they have a question
I
on
don't-
signing it.
I don't see it detailed any further in any
No, I
other
don't either.
section. I think that is the number that applies, I guess I would say. I agree with you on that. And that would be my interpretation.
So do we need a motion on each one of these?
I will make a motion that we sign the compactor agreements with the cities of Blue Mound, Lacine, Mound City, Parker, Prescott, and Pleasanton.
Who do you have?
Let's see, Blue Mound.
Is that correct?
That is correct. I just don't have Pleasanton's.
There should be 2 copies.
Oh,
Is your motion to sign it as is or to add a caveat?
As is.
This is Pleasanton, sir.
okay.
There's 2 copies.
Okay.
Yes. I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Jim? All figure on this one.
Do you have anything else?
I don't.
I don't have anything else, but since we're leaving to go out to
The cabins?
the cabins together, I think we have to notify the public, right?
You have to notify the public that the open session ends here and that you will be at a workshop at the marina.
Do we have to stay at the 1 o'clock, or can we just move it if we state the time or be there?
I think we can.
Just state the time, can we?
As long as you're notifying the public in open session that
Right.
you're up. moving around.
What do you want to shoot for noon? Can we,
Of course. I can make it there by noon.
I think we all can get there by noon. You want it quicker?
I'm fine with it.
Can you
We
make it
wanna-
fast? You sure?
We want you to be able to get something to eat, Ally.
No, we want to give you time to have a 6-course meal, so.
I have pretzels, it's fine.
So we'll meet over at the park at noon at the marina to start the tour and looking things over. We won't take action at that
We won't make,
workshop because it's a workshop.
right.
No action.
So we're just gonna adjourn here and
Yes.
be at the marina at 12 o'clock noon.
Sounds good.
That's my motion.
The public is welcome to join.
I'll second that.
No more
It's
discussion.
been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We need to sign the payroll too. Want that?
Change.